Have you ever opened the fridge and stood there wondering why you even walked into the kitchen? Or maybe you've misplaced your glasses, only to find them already on your head? If that sounds familiar, you're in good company. These little memory slips can be frustrating, but they're also common, especially after we hit 70. Now here's something most people don't realize. Forgetting doesn't have to be the new normal. Your brain is still full of potential, and yes, it can stay sharp with just a few small changes. I'm not talking about expensive programs or complicated routines. The numbers I'll share with you today are simple, doable, and backed by real science. Things you can start using right after watching this video. They're part of my everyday life, and I've seen them make a difference, not just for me, but for my friends and neighbors, too. If you've ever worried about slipping memory or just want to stay sharp and focused well into your golden years, this video is for you. You'll walk away with 7 powerful brain-boosting habits that work with your lifestyle, not against it. And hey, if you find these tips helpful, take a second to give this video a like, hit subscribe to stay connected with us here at Vibrant Elders, and maybe share in the comments one thing you've done to keep your mind sharp. We're a community here, and your wisdom matters, too. So, where do we begin? Well, the first brain number is actually something a little playful, and it only takes 5 minutes a day. Ready for it? Number 1. Use the name, place, animal thing recall game daily. Oh, you know, one of the best things about keeping your memory sharp is that it doesn't have to feel like a chore. It can actually be fun, something you look forward to, like your morning crossword or that first sip of coffee. And that brings me to the first brain trick I want to share with you today, the name, place, animal thing game. It sounds simple, and it is, but don't let that fool you. This little activity gives your brain a full workout, especially in the parts that help with focus, decision-making, and memory. Here's how it works. You pick a letter, any letter of the alphabet. Let's say today you choose the letter S. Now, you think of one person's name that starts with S, like Sarah. Then, a place, maybe Seattle. Next, an animal. How about squirrel? And finally, a thing, spoon. So you've got Sarah, Seattle, squirrel, spoon. That's it. You've just done a mini brain workout. And the best part? It only takes a few minutes, and you can do it anywhere. Sitting in your recliner, waiting for the microwave, even during your walk around the neighborhood. Now, here's why this little game matters. According to neuroscientists, activities that force you to recall different categories under a specific constraint, like a starting letter, engage multiple areas of your brain, especially the hippocampus and prefrontal cortex. Those are the exact spots that tend to weaken with age if we don't keep them active. So think of this like doing squats or stretches, but for your memory. I like to do mine first thing in the morning, just after breakfast. I pick a letter and run through it out loud. Sometimes I write it down, especially if I want to challenge myself to make it different from the day before. And I'll be honest, some days, I even call up my sister and we do it together on the phone. It's a fun way to laugh a little and keep each other on our toes. What I love most about this is how it fits so easily into daily life. You don't need an app or a class or a textbook, just your mind and a few spare minutes. And over time, you'll start to notice small changes. You might remember names quicker, find it easier to recall a grocery list, or even stay sharper in conversations. If you want to take it a step further, try switching up the categories. Instead of name, place, animal thing, go for food, song, color, hobby. Keep it interesting. Keep it fresh. That variety keeps your brain engaged, too. So give it a shot. Maybe today's your M day, Michael, Miami, Moose, mug. Go ahead, say it out loud. I'll wait. Feels good, doesn't it? All right, now that your brain is warmed up, we're ready for the next trick. Something that gets both your body and your mind moving together. Number 2, walk 20 minutes a day while listening to new information. Now that we've got the brain buzzing a little, let's add something that gets the whole body involved. One of the most powerful and honestly most overlooked ways to keep your memory sharp after 70 is to simply walk. Yep, just walking. But here's the twist. While you walk, you also feed your brain with something new. A story, a podcast, maybe a favorite radio program or an audiobook. It's like exercise for your muscles and your mind, all in one shot. I know some folks say walking is just for staying physically active, but the science says otherwise. Studies from places like Harvard and the National Institute on Aging have shown that regular walking increases blood flow to the brain. And when more oxygen and nutrients reach your brain, it works better. You think clearer. You remember faster. And when you're listening to something educational or stimulating while walking, you're doubling the benefit. For me, this started during the pandemic. I was stuck at home and needed both a routine and a reason to look forward to getting outside. So I picked up an old pair of sneakers, grabbed my phone, and found a podcast about American history, something I've always loved but hadn't thought about in years. Now, even a 20-minute walk around the block feels like an adventure. Some days it's a TED Talk, other days I listen to old-time radio plays. And I'm not just moving my feet, I'm filling my head with new ideas. You don't need anything fancy to get started. Most smartphones come with a podcast app already on them, or you can use services like Audible for audiobooks. You might even tune into your local public radio station. The key is to choose something that keeps you curious. It doesn't have to be academic. It can be about gardening, cooking, old Hollywood movies, whatever sparks your interest. Now, if walking outside isn't an option because of weather or mobility, don't worry. You can still pace around the house. Even laps through the hallway while listening works. The magic is in the rhythm of your movement combined with the act of learning. And if you live in a senior community, you might find a walking buddy and trade off sharing interesting things you heard that day. What I've noticed is that when I walk and listen, I'm more alert afterward. I remember conversations more clearly. I even sleep better at night. It's a small change, but it adds up, especially when it becomes part of your daily routine. So next time the sun's out, or even if it's not, lace up those shoes, press play on something that interests you, and take your brain out for a walk. Trust me, it'll thank you later. Ready for the next one? Let's talk food. Because what you eat can have just as much impact on your memory as what you listen to. Number 3, eat these 3 brain-boosting foods every week. If you've ever wondered whether food could help your memory, the answer is a big, resounding yes. The brain is like a garden. It needs the right nutrients to grow strong, stay sharp, and fight off the weeds of forgetfulness. And while there's no magical meal that solves everything overnight, certain foods have been proven, yes, scientifically proven, to feed your brain in ways that really matter. Today, I want to share 3 of them that are easy to find, simple to prepare, and absolutely worth adding to your weekly routine: blueberries, walnuts, and salmon. Let's start with blueberries. These tiny little berries are like brain gold. They're packed with antioxidants, especially something called anthocyanins, which help reduce inflammation and protect the brain from aging. Researchers at Tufts University found that older adults who ate just a half cup of blueberries a day for 12 weeks showed improvement in memory and focus. I usually buy a frozen bag and toss them into oatmeal or yogurt in the morning. Sometimes, if I'm feeling fancy, I'll blend them into a smoothie with a little almond milk. Easy, tasty, and your brain gets a boost. Next up, walnuts. Now, I've always been a fan of a good crunchy snack, and walnuts are just about perfect. Not only are they rich in healthy fats, but they also contain omega-3s, especially alpha-linolenic acid, which supports brain cell communication. A study published in the Journal of Nutrition showed that seniors who ate just a handful of walnuts a day performed better on memory tests. I keep a small jar of them on the kitchen counter and reach for a few instead of chips or crackers. You don't need a lot, just enough to keep those brain circuits firing smoothly. And finally, salmon. I know not everyone loves fish, but hear me out. Salmon is one of the richest sources of DHA, a type of omega-3 fat that's critical for maintaining the structure and function of brain cells. Think of it as brain grease. It keeps everything running smoothly. If you can manage to eat salmon once a week, you're doing your memory a huge favor. I usually go for a simple preparation, pan-seared with a squeeze of lemon, maybe a bit of dill on top. Canned or frozen salmon works just fine, too. It doesn't have to be fancy to be effective. What I like about these 3 foods, besides being delicious, is that they're accessible. You can find them at nearly any grocery store. They don't require complicated recipes, and they're things you can easily make part of your normal week without changing your whole lifestyle. Even better, they don't just help your brain. They're good for your heart, your joints, and your energy levels, too. So the next time you're writing your grocery list, think about tossing in those blueberries, grabbing a bag of walnuts, and picking up a portion of salmon. Your taste buds will be happy, and so will your memory. Ready for a memory trick that doesn't go in your mouth, but through your nose? Let's move to something you've probably never thought of: the power of scent. Number 4, use a scent cue to trigger daily memories. Now, this next brain trick might surprise you. It's not something you eat, write down, or even say out loud. It's something you smell. That's right. Your nose can play a powerful role in how well you remember things. I didn't believe it at first either, but the science behind this is real, and once I tried it, I was amazed at how effective it can be. It's all about using a familiar scent as a cue to trigger memory. Here's how it works. Your sense of smell is directly connected to a part of the brain called the hippocampus, the very same part that's responsible for memory and learning. Unlike sound or sight, scent doesn't take the long way around. It goes straight to the brain's emotional and memory centers. That's why a whiff of something, like fresh-baked cookies or your dad's aftershave, can bring back a memory from decades ago. It's powerful. So how can you use that to your advantage today? One way is by using an essential oil diffuser. These are small devices that gently spread a chosen scent throughout the room. You can pick oils like lavender, peppermint, or rosemary, each with its own benefits. Lavender is calming, peppermint wakes up the senses, and rosemary has even been linked to better recall in small studies. You don't need to overthink it. Just choose a scent that makes you feel good and use it consistently while you're learning or doing something you want to remember. For example, if you're writing down a to-do list, listening to an audiobook, or practicing your name, place, animal, thing game, have that diffuser running in the background with your chosen scent. Then, later on, when you need to recall what you learned or find that list again, you can breathe in that same scent and give your brain a little nudge. It's like pressing the refresh button on your memory. You don't have to spend a lot of money to try this. Essential oil diffusers can be found at Walmart, Walgreens, or online for under $20. A small bottle of essential oil lasts a long time. I keep one by my favorite reading chair and another by the desk. Some folks even dab a drop on a tissue or their collar. It's all about making the scent part of your routine. What I love most about this trick is how gentle and pleasant it is. It doesn't feel like effort. It feels like a treat. And while the memory benefits are the goal, you also get a little lift in mood and calmness along the way. It's a small change, but like most of these tricks, it adds up over time. So next time you're getting ready to do something that matters, like learning something new, writing a letter, or even calling your doctor, turn on a little scent memory. Your brain just might thank you. Now let's talk about something even more personal, rediscovering a skill you used to love. It could be the key to unlocking stronger memory and a happier heart. Number 5. Relearn a skill you used to love. One of the most beautiful things about getting older is the treasure chest of life experiences we carry with us. Inside that chest are hobbies, skills, and passions that may have gathered a little dust, but they haven't disappeared. In fact, going back to something you used to love isn't just good for the soul. It's a scientifically backed way to keep your brain strong and your memory sharp. Let me tell you about my neighbor, Diane. She used to play piano as a young woman, church hymns, a little jazz, even some Beatles tunes. But life got busy, kids came along, then grandkids, and the piano sat quietly in the corner. A few months ago, after reading about memory exercises, she sat down and tried to play again. Her fingers were rusty, sure, but something beautiful happened. She started remembering, not just the music, but old feelings, places, and moments. And over time, she got better. Her mood lifted. Her mind seemed quicker. She said it felt like waking up a part of herself that had been sleeping. That's not just nostalgia talking. Studies from places like the Mayo Clinic show that learning, or relearning, a complex skill engages multiple areas of the brain. It strengthens neural pathways, sparks new connections, and helps reinforce memory. And when that skill is something you already have emotional ties to, it activates even deeper areas of long-term memory. Maybe for you, it's not piano. Maybe it's knitting, woodworking, baking that perfect apple pie, sketching, or writing poems. Whatever it is, the goal isn't perfection, it's participation. It's the joy of being in that familiar rhythm again. Even reading a favorite book series or trying an old board game with friends can awaken those old patterns and challenge your mind in a healthy way. If you're not sure where to start, try thinking back to what used to make time fly. What did you lose track of time doing before life got so busy? Or maybe you could ask a family member what they remember you loving. Sometimes it just takes a little nudge to bring those memories rushing back. And don't worry about being as good as you once were. That's not the point. In fact, the act of learning again, even slowly, is where all the benefit comes from. That process of remembering how to do something you used to do is like a workout for your memory. It builds resilience and confidence. So dust off that old camera, dig out that recipe book, pull out the sewing kit or the harmonica or the crossword puzzle. Invite a friend to join you if it makes it more fun. Whatever it is, let it be something that lights you up a little. That spark? That's your brain waking up, stretching its legs, and saying thank you. Next, we'll talk about a trick that's just as powerful and doesn't require a single hobby. Just a little courage to say hello to someone new. Number 6. Talk to someone new every week. Now here's something most folks overlook when it comes to memory. The simple act of conversation. Not deep, philosophical discussions, just good old-fashioned chit-chat. Talking to someone new, even briefly, is one of the easiest and most uplifting ways to keep your brain engaged, your memory active, and your heart a little lighter. Let me explain why it works. When you talk to someone, especially someone you don't know well, your brain kicks into gear. You have to listen, process what they're saying, remember details, respond thoughtfully, and maybe even find the right words on the spot. That's a full mental workout, believe it or not. And research from places like Johns Hopkins has shown that seniors who stay socially engaged have a significantly lower risk of cognitive decline and even dementia, around 30% lower. In fact, that's no small thing. Now, I get it, meeting new people isn't always easy, especially if you've moved, lost touch with old friends, or feel a bit more private these days. But you don't need to join a club or give a speech. It can be as simple as talking to the woman next to you in the grocery store line, or asking your neighbor how her roses are doing, even chatting with the pharmacist while picking up your medication. I try to make it a habit, one new conversation a week. Doesn't have to be long, just enough to stir things up in the brain a little. Sometimes it's with someone at the park while walking my dog. Other times, it's the young man who bags my groceries. I'll ask him how school's going or what he does for fun. I walk away smiling, and I always feel sharper afterward. And it's not just about memory, it's about connection. We weren't made to live life in silence. We thrive when we share little pieces of ourselves, even with strangers. Plus, hearing someone else's story gives your brain new material to process, reflect on, and store. You might even find yourself recalling details days later, what they said, what they were wearing, a name they mentioned. That's your memory working in real time. If starting a conversation feels a little awkward, try having a go-to question or compliment. Something like, "I love your scarf. Where'd you get it?" Or, "Isn't this weather something?" It's not about being clever. It's about being present and kind. You'll be surprised how willing people are to talk when someone takes a genuine interest. So this week, challenge yourself, just one new hello. It could be someone in your apartment building, someone at church, even someone waiting at the doctor's office. One small conversation, one big step for your brain. And now, we'll close out with a memory trick that brings your day full circle. Just you, a notebook, and one quiet moment before bed. Number 7. Write one thing you learned today before bed. There's something really special about the quiet moments before bed. The world slows down, the noise fades, and you finally have a minute just for yourself. That's exactly when the final memory trick comes in. A simple little habit that doesn't take more than 2 minutes, but can have a powerful impact on how well your brain holds onto information. Just write down one thing you learned that day. Just one. Now, I know some folks aren't into journaling, and that's totally fine. This isn't about keeping a diary or pouring out your heart, though you can, if you like. This is about memory reinforcement. Neuroscience tells us that writing something down just before sleep helps the brain consolidate that information while you rest. Think of it like tucking a little note under your pillow, where your brain can read it over and over all night long. It doesn't have to be big. Maybe you learned a new word on the crossword puzzle. Maybe you discovered a tip in this video. Maybe your grandchild told you something interesting about their school day. Whatever it is, take a moment before your head hits the pillow, grab a notebook or a sticky note, and jot it down. Here's what I do. I keep a little notebook right on my nightstand. The same pen, the same spot, so there's no hunting around. Before I turn off the lamp, I think back on the day and ask myself, what's one thing I learned today? Sometimes it's practical, like a new way to organize my spice rack. Sometimes it's something I learned about myself, like how much a short walk in the morning lifts my spirits. And sometimes, it's just a new fact I picked up from the news or a book. What matters most isn't the size of the lesson, it's the habit. Doing this regularly builds a rhythm, a mental muscle memory. You're training your brain to notice, to absorb, and to store. Over time, you'll find yourself more attentive during the day, too. because you'll be on the lookout for something worth writing down. Some folks I know have even turned this into a memory box. They write down their daily one thing, fold it up, and drop it in a jar. After a month or so, they read them back. It's a beautiful reminder of all the little things you're still capable of learning and remembering. And let's be honest, those little things add up to a life well lived. So tonight, when the day winds down and your thoughts are settling in, take just a moment to write. One sentence, one learning, one small act of self-care for your beautiful brain. Now, let's wrap it all up and look back on what you've just discovered. Because these aren't just tips, they're gifts you're giving your future self. So here we are, 7 brain tricks later, and I hope you're feeling encouraged, not overwhelmed. Because the truth is, memory loss isn't something we just have to accept with age. It's something we can gently push back against with little daily choices. Nothing fancy, nothing extreme, just real habits, grounded in science and wrapped in everyday life. You've got tools now. A memory game that's as easy as name, place, animal, thing. A walk paired with a podcast that gets your heart and your brain pumping. Foods that nourish your neurons. Scents that unlock learning. Old hobbies brought back to life. Conversations that stretch your thinking. And a quiet, powerful moment each night to remind your brain it's still learning. Here's my gentle nudge for you. Don't feel like you have to do them all at once. Just choose one. Maybe it's the one that made you smile. The one that made you go, I could do that. Try it this week. Let it settle in. Let your brain get used to the idea that you're still in charge. And if you found value here, if something spoke to you, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to our channel Vibrant Elders, and share your thoughts below. What's one trick you're going to try first? Or maybe you've got your own brain-boosting habit you'd love to pass on to others. We're all learning from each other here. You've spent a lifetime building wisdom, laughter, and resilience. That mind of yours has carried stories, solved problems, and loved deeply. It's still got a lot of living left to do. Stay curious, stay kind to yourself, and remember, every day is a good day to nourish your beautiful brain.